that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Now here comes the clinchers. In these following verses in Galatians chapter 6, 9, and 10, listen if you will to what Paul says to us. Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in D-U-E, season, we shall reap. Definitely, positively, emphatically, we shall reap if we faint not. You got to hang on in there. You got to hold your hope. As V.M. Roberts, hold on to what you got. Keep on keeping on. There's nobody that knows anything at all about sowing and reaping, or planting and harvesting. Nobody plants a seed this week and expect to reap the harvest next week. Nobody. Farmers know that it takes time for seeds to germinate and to reach maturity. First comes the roots, then come the shoots, and finally comes the fruit. It all takes time, and each one in their own order. We that live in that is called an age, the age in which we now live, this is an instant age, an age of fast foods, intoxication, rapid transportation. Men have learned how to force, produce, and urge fruit on to swift maturity. Men have learned to manipulate and rush Mother Nature herself, but there is one thing that still remains the same. One thing that holds steady and fast. You can't hurry God. You just have to wait. You've got to trust God and give Him time, no matter how long. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 again, if Solomon the king, wise king, right, there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Solomon continued, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant, pluck up that which is planted, a time to get and a time to give, a time to win and a time. God, Solomon says, had made everything beautiful in his time. And he has set the world so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them but for man to rejoice and do good in his life. And I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, and nothing can be taken from it. God doeth it, and men shall fear before God now and forever. This is the harvest of due season. And you need to be able to remember and say, what's for me is for me. Don't worry about it. You'll get yours when your season comes. What's for you is for you. The song says, it's your season to be blessed. You may not have all you want now, but hang on in there, because this is your due season. Don't get weary in well doing. There are so many factors involved, amen, in the equation. Our motives, our efforts are often misunderstood and unappreciated. The flesh, our own physical resources can become depleted. Satan, the devil, you know him, don't you? He puts discouraging thoughts in our mind. Our own spiritual life has its highs and it has its lows. We cannot slack off in our duty function. We must do what God has said do when he said do it in due season. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want it to stick. We shall reap if we faint not. Amen. To every time. Solomon declared, God has it so fixed that nature has its time and purpose for things to ripen and mature. The years came and went, amen, but when God gets ready, everything will develop. Think of the time, amen, how many times David himself narrowly escaped death at the hands of King Saul.